gonna sign into the chat. That'll give you a second to get a cup of coffee and figure out why am I in my living room in a toque. So we're gonna have some fun. There, so get a second to get your drink. There we go, everybody. Go back to here. I'm getting better at this, I think. You can say in the chat that you're here. There. Now, let's say good morning to everyone on Facebook and invite them to come and visit with us. Good morning, everyone. I'm just on YouTube right now on my channel. And if you'd like to join us, you can find out why I'm dressed like this. And what is it, like May the 9th? Like, ridiculous, truly. So I put a link to my YouTube channel. And the reason I'd like to have everyone come over to the YouTube. Hey, Brandy and Krista and Jim and Glenn and Miley. All right, so if you want to come in, so below this, I put the link to my YouTube channel, and I'm just asking if you would subscribe and hit the bell. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff on the YouTube channel because, excuse me, sorry. That's a perfect example of what we're going to talk about in mental health. For example, like I'm just trying to wake my brain up because my medication makes me sleepy. And if you come over to the YouTube channel, then you can subscribe, hit the bell, and oh, Tracy, hi. Mark, hello, bestie Kelly. So anyways, today we're going to cover, like specifically my channel is about being bipolar because my doctor Guyana said there isn't support. But I'm finding a lot of people who deal with like the symptoms of bipolar. Hi, Madeline. The symptoms of bipolar. Some people who don't have bipolar disorder are experiencing a lot of the symptoms that people with bipolar have, like anxiety and stress and shortness of patience and lots of stuff and not sleeping. And like these are all symptoms. Yo, Greg, this is so cool. So I got Brandy and Greg. I grew up with them in Merlin. That's where I come from. If you don't know where it is, that'll give you something to do later, is look it up. So if you want to click below, I'm going to hop off and check out my YouTube channel. Not check it out. come on in and let's talk about mindfulness, about your anxiety. Hey, Bruce, about just all kinds of things. Just spend a little bit of time, and I can explain to you why I'm in a toque, a scarf in my living room. And just as a joke, save me because I live with 3 men and I have 3 bathrooms. That's all I gotta say. So, all right. So there you go. I'm hoping that you'll join me. We went from 0 subscribers in 1 month to 35. And so right now it says there's 7 people watching. And whatever you want to talk about, you can drop it in the chat. And I would be happy to answer. It's also really cool that I have 2 best friends, Kelly Franklin and Denise Lozon. And Kelly does a lot of incredible work. Look up Courage for Freedom. She's amazing. And that she's here right now. So there's a lot of things that you all can add to the talk. So I'm going to hit finish and meet me over there. Ciao. All right. So hopefully, we've got no viewers yet. So we'll give it a minute. But today is Saturday, and I thought that I would just be real today and talk about how right now it might be hard to get going in the mornings. So I'm just stuttering because I'm just waiting to see if anyone. I'm going to be right back because there's someone at my door. As I said, I'm waiting for everyone to come on. Coming. Hello. Okay, thanks. Okay, so look, maybe I'm just not seeing something, but it says there's no one watching. But oh well, I'll just take a couple of minutes then to talk to you. So, my name is Stephanie Brown, and I am a bipolar survivor. And I thought I would be real today. You, my living room, and I normally try to be Miss Professional and get all like showered and all that jazz. And I put lipstick on, that was it. And So, I was diagnosed bipolar in my 20s, but it's only now that I am really dealing with it. Something that is a mindful, pardon the pun. Oh, also pet therapy is good. Our dog Jojo. She's a mix between a cat. What are you? Cavalier, King Charles Cavalier, and a Dachshund. She's got jumpy little legs, but she's very affectionate. Pet therapy's good. Um, so I just thought we would cover something. It's really important to take your medication, and it's a real tough journey to take medication because finding the right mix can be tough. I am in my pajamas, my blanket, over, and my hat because it's freaking snowing out. And I think today's the 10th. So, yeah. So, anyways, I was diagnosed in my 20s and I was in denial. Like, denial as in, no, I don't need meds, I'm fine. And actually, couldn't be farther from the truth. I used to be anti meds, but now I am so happy with the person that I love, my partner Joe. Oh, here's some fun. So, this is a very soft teddy bear. Like everything's all about soft sensory today. So we met 4 years ago, and he has helped me get on the right track of medications. And so, one of my medications was just that's hard. That's why I'm not dressed. I'm not. I slept in until 9. So weird, but you're medicated to make you drowsy. So, um, what tool I can give you is talking about mindfulness. My hubby just came down the stairs. He's laughing hysterically at me because I don't think he understands why I'm in a toque and a scarf. But it's just my way of saying what the H because it's snowing and it's May the 10th. Like, seriously. Oh my goodness. So, I apologize if it seems like I'm babbling. I'm waiting to see if anyone joins us here today. Maybe you're just, I don't know, there's a way to be incognito. But back to my medications. So I refused to take them, but when I realized that the one thing about bipolar is you can't see how you're being, and with your medications, sometimes you can't see how you're being, but my family members, some of them didn't want to talk to me or be around me, and that was a clear indication. that I needed to make a change. So, anyways, the only supplements I take outside of prescribed medication is vitamin D, and Dr. Grundy is a doctor, and he has a supplement that works wonders for my stomach called Total Restore, and I don't sell it, but it has made such a huge difference in my digestive system, which has been a problem all my life, and I think it may be linked to some of my issues. It's not inexpensive, unfortunately. But what I've learned, someone asked me in Facebook about, this is what I do. I explode at my family. I get really, then I'll be really happy, and then I'm really irritable. And, they said, I think I might be bipolar. Well, first and foremost, whatever you think, just go to your doctor. Now, right now, you can't go to your doctor. They all do Zoom calls with you, but still, get the conversation going. It's really hard to get a specialist. Be in control of your own well-being. And so, my doctor, my psychiatrist, is Dr. Ganna Giuseppe. And he asked that I buy this book for bipolar. And so the first pages, see here. So the definition of bipolar disorder is a chronic and recurrent mental illness that affects the mechanisms that regulate mood and may result in a high level of personal, familial, social, and economic burden. It is estimated that bipolar disorders affect approximately 2.4% of the global population. The illness onset typically occurs during young adulthood, although the diagnosis is often delayed. Yeah, for sure. That's my story. I'm 45 and I'm finally getting better. Like, I overheard one of my children talking to one of their friends who was refusing to take a medication, and I heard him say, "You sound like my mom," because she thought she didn't need medication. Therefore, an early diagnosis is crucial to establishing an appropriate treatment plan as soon as possible. So this is the book, Psychotherapy for Bipolar Disorders, an Integrative Approach, edited by Maria Renaers and Annabelle Martinez Aran and Edward Valletta. I'm sorry if I've said any of your names incorrectly. To date, the diagnosis of the disease is based on purely clinical criteria. The defining symptoms for mental illnesses are detailed in the Diagnostical and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or also called the DSM. Something you may not know about me, which I'm sharing with my friends, and they're like, wow, I didn't know you did that. I went to college for social service worker. And so I'm very familiar with the DSM. And actually, as I'm doing one-on-one peer support through Zooms and stuff, a lot of my education is coming back to me. And, it's just wild that I was only 18 years old when I went to college. But I remember us studying how that, there's endorphins in your brain, the good feelings, stuff that causes the good feelings. And when your neurotransmitters communicate in your brain. They fire off, and if you don't have enough dopamine, you will feel depressed. And so it's incredible because I went to Fanshawe back in 1994. I graduated. 96. 96. Irrelevant, but anyway. And that's how I've ended up in these parts, and kind of cool. I'm really fortunate. If you have bipolar, or if you think you have bipolar, or if you think it, you need to make an appointment with your doctor to get you on your way into a specialist. As my dear Joe says, you have not went to school for 12 years, so do not diagnose. Leave that to the doctors. In reverse, if your doctor says, yes, you are bipolar, advocate for yourself and ask a lot of questions. And if you feel like you need to get a second opinion, but it's really funny. I grew up in Merlin. I lived near the American border. My kids, a couple of them, have been helping me with my job this week because I delivered my natural granola called Living Life Granola to grocery stores, and they like burst out laughing because of some of the way I sound like they say I sound like I have an accent. And so anyways, what was my point? That's the bipolar brain. Blah blah blah, ramble. It doesn't it's see, yeah, there it is, live and in person, like not knowing what you were talking about. It's really difficult. Dr. Ganna said that of over 60% of his patients from our hospital cannot hold a job. And I can understand why. Because you have to act like you're fine when you're not. And you also, if you think you have it, you need to educate yourself. And if that's why you're here, I'm glad. Because it's a very, very complicated illness to describe. So memory loss, and I just forgot what I was saying. I have to park my car in this certain spot and then look up what's around it. So I'll literally forget where I put it. Now I know normal people do that, but it's literally a blank. And hard because my family would be like, there's no way you don't remember that. And yeah, I try to help people understand, okay, so I used to take care of a woman with Alzheimer's in my 20s. That's when I was still trying to find my place in society. And so I have done a lot of jobs with very short periods of time because I can do it for a little while and then I have to quit. My present job of being in sales for 4 years is the longest I've ever been, but I have to say 110%. I owe that to my mom and Joe, my partner, because they have driven me around or been with me every time to help me, because without that one-on-one support, I would not have made it this far. So, says patients on page 1, Patients with bipolar disorder can show manic, hypomanic, and depressive episodes alternating with symptom-free periods. Eurythmia. So that's a really real thing. Like, I overheard my son say to his friend, he's like, my mom would have times where she's fine, and then she's like, I don't need anything, see? And here they call it eurythmia, but I make up my own terms where I say that I'm in remission, and it's to help, I in no way am saying that I know what cancer is like in no way, shape, or form. And my heart goes out to you if you're fighting that battle. But the general public understands the word remission. And if I am not, if I'm not going through symptoms, which, by the way, I have not had complete remission for years. My bipolar, they've done research, and I should look it up, so I can share it with you. But if I got treatment like I'm getting treatment now in my 20s, it's the best way to describe it. It's almost like it sort of heals your brain. Like, that's not true, but for the sake of this conversation, so say someone my age right now got treatment in their 20s, proper treatment, and if you put, and we're the same age now, I'm 45, you put their brain under a scan, they said, the doctors, and you put my brain under a scan, mine looks way different because I have not gotten treatment that I needed a long time ago. So therefore, my brain is not as well as that other person's. So I'm finding new symptoms that I had never associated with bipolar. So stuttering, that doesn't happen too often, but I'm not afraid to say in conversations, sorry, I'm bipolar and my brain is spaghetti. Just give me a second. And people are kind and they're like, that's cool, no problem. So I'm just gonna touch on two more things because this is just gonna go on the YouTube page, and then I think I'm gonna jump on Facebook because I think all my friends who were there weren't able to come on today, and I want everyone to try to get a sense of what you can get here. But to all of you who do subscribe and have taken the time to watch this, this morning I've taken a more relaxed feel, because here's the reality. I could totally have gotten in the shower and put on my glitter on my eyes and look like, hi, I'm the model person for being bipolar. You want to be like me. But really, that's not what this channel for me is about. It's about, let's get real. And if you see me struggling to get dressed, to have a career, to have healthy relationships, to take my medication, and how they're heavy, and describing that, and you go, oh, that's me, like, and telling you like I haven't showered in 3 days, and that's this is the reality of this illness. And I'm really, really honored. Just before COVID hit, my doctor asked me if I would be interested in running peer support groups. And I am, and I'm not sure, but I may be heading into new chapters of my life in the future, and I'm not going to say, but then sometime I'll be able to announce those. And they are directly linked to my being well. Because the fact is if you had no legs, you were in a wheelchair, and someone said, you should go running, you would think that person, first of all, you're a jerk for saying it because the person is in a wheelchair and has no legs. And second of all, it's so hurtful because that person probably, it's taken them a long time to come to terms with the fact that they'll never walk or run. Bipolar is the same way. You have to come to terms with it. You have to come to terms with the fact, one of my books that I refer to in my YouTube is Bipolar Not So Much by Dr. Chris Aiken and Dr. James Phelps. And it's a great book. I highly recommend it. Coming to terms with your diagnosis and your limitations, and don't be embarrassed that you have limitations. Work within that framework of those limitations. And I really owe a lot to my partner Joe, because I can there's you can tell where I grew up. I grew up in farm country, as I was saying, near the American border. In my little village, we had our own dialect as it was. So there was a bit of a southern twang. And then you mix that with me listening to American radio, and it's an odd accent that, I don't know, sometimes comes out. Like I say phrases like "gonna get me some," and I got me some tea, you know, stuff like that. And so coming to terms with the diagnosis, I told you that about the way I speak, because it just weird how the brain, and the brain is all over the place, and your family has to keep up with it. And so my parents moved from Windsor area 4 years ago to St. Thomas, Ontario, where I live, to support me. And because if you're a person that takes care of someone, when I say takes care of, I mean supports mentally, emotionally, physically, sometimes financially, you need other people to carry the burden. And my mom and dad carry me sometimes to give Joe a break. Some of the most brilliant things that are created in the entire world are by people that are bipolar. But the negative symptoms, like so in the book Bipolar Not So Much that I referred to, I remember having a talk with my mom, and this was like in 2019. And people with bipolar, we see things like it's real, like this is a teddy bear, right? But let's say this was an elephant. I see this as a teddy bear, but everyone around me is telling me it's an elephant. Do you think I'm going to get mad? You bet. You bet I'm going to get angry, because my perception of what's happening to me is extremely real. But my family is frustrated with me. And in that book, it says, get used to saying you're sorry, not for having an illness, but how you're your illness affects your behavior, which then in turn affects people around you, and it hurts them. And that sucks. That's not fair. Like, now I'm going to go back to, see, this is what happens. I remember now what I was saying like 15 minutes ago. And that's also hard for my family, because if I'm talking to them, they're like, what are you talking about now? Which honestly is rude, but I'm just being real. Like, I want to punch him in the head, because I'm like, follow along, like, keep up, like, pay attention. But they're like, we're not talking about that right now. But so yeah, it's so I was told you I went to school after social service work at Fanshawe. I couldn't find a job because I was only 19 years old, and also I was ill. I'm what they call high functioning, so it's either I stuttered. See, my brain when I even felt it go like two different directions. The words sort of and kind of smashed together, and I can't get it out. So I did not know I was sick, and I couldn't get a job because I was so young. Who wants to hire a 19-year-old in social work? Like I'm gonna, you know, mentor a woman at an abuse women's shelter at 19. And I actually did work for a little while in one, and it actually was terrible for me because I've been through sexual abuse, and that environment triggered me constantly, and so it was not a good place for me to work. That's another thing in being bipolar. You have to have your self-awareness, and if you stick with me, I do reiterate a lot of the same things, because I don't assume that the same people at the same time are watching this. So before I go, here's the recap. If you think you're bipolar, please reach out to your family physician for an appointment. They in turn will make a referral for you. If you're in Canada, you can reach out to the Canadian Mental Health Association. I think they're .ca, definitely .ca or .com. They have a crisis line, and you can call there. They will give you your local branch. I love our CMHA. I have to say, and they have agreed with me. I did not always find their services helpful, but they have come a long way, baby. And they have open hours where you can just walk in and talk to somebody. And even though like my hubby is the mayor, and all this stuff, that mental illness does not care about what you do, who you are, who you aren't. Like it it it's I have made up this sentence: illness is not convenient. And so go in when they have open hours at our local CMHA. And I am so fortunate. I really commend my partner Joe, because most people would be embarrassed, but he's not embarrassed of me, and he encourages me to get the help that I need. So, and if you and to recap, if you're here just curious about, like, sometimes I feel euphoria, like, think about the most exciting day of your life or moment, and the how ecstatic and endorphin rush you had, and that is what being manic is like. And I had mania like 6 months straight, and then I would crash. And then I would go into deep depression, not because I was depressed, but because I was so burnt out I couldn't get up. And then I would have to quit my job. I have a lot of really sad stories of some really cool careers that I had, but because I was not treated, I burnt out. And as Joe, my partner, says, Stephanie is the best employee in the world for the first 2 weeks of her job, because typically I'm in sales. It's where I gravitate to. But I will then find myself in the hospital, and one of the stories I may have already told is that while I was one job, I was so successful at it so fast that while I was in the psychiatric ward in St. Thomas in 2016, I was getting messages on my phone of the CEOs of the company congratulating me on my success and broadcasting it all across Canada, that what I had accomplished. But the sad part is that's what my whole working career, that sums it up right there, what I've been through. So get treatment sooner than later. And you know what? If you go through the trouble of figuring it out and you find that you're not bipolar, praise the Lord. But if you're like me, like, you need to I really recommend, like, I have one friend who doesn't do it because the doctor says it doesn't benefit her. So not all shoes fit on everyone, but do a mood chart every day for a month, and then go see your family physician or Zoom your family physician and talk about, like, this is what, May looked like. And you can then come to a more concise judgment on what's happening with you. But I have said it in previous recordings. I am not proud to say it, but I actually used to be quite embarrassed. And if you're blessed enough to have a partner like I do who says that's the past, hold up your head high and move forward. But I used to be so ashamed that I have been divorced twice. And that's because, one, people who, my first marriage, my lack of, it's 50-50 why things don't turn out, but my lack of getting help burnt out my partner. So it's very selfish of you not to get help or do what you should be doing to be well. And my second partner I chose while ill. And when you are mentally ill, you are vulnerable, because remember I said, if this is a teddy bear to me, but you're telling me it's a stuffed elephant, I will see only this as a teddy bear, and I will make choices based on what I actually think I'm seeing. And if you have a mental illness, you're very vulnerable to making poor choices in relationships, and typically codependent relationships, which I covered in the last video. So I'm going to stop there. Hope this has been helpful. Sorry we got off to a slow start. I just wanted to see if anyone was going to jump on live today. But this will be in the replay. So if you want to comment replay, and put your comments in. I'm still trying to learn how to answer comments, so if you've sent me a message, I'm really sorry. I think I'm going to call this a pajama weekend because it's snowing, and I told Joe, my hubby, that I'm going to just sit on the computer and take some trainings and do some learnings. So I'll take a look at what your comments are. You're welcome to find me, Stephanie Brown, on Facebook if you want to direct message me there. But I'm going to let you go now, and please keep reaching out to me. It's a heavy subject, but in this isolation, it's so sad when I hear someone's committed suicide. And in the words of Rachel Hollis, it's a bad moment, it's not a bad life. So I look forward to seeing you next Saturday, right here live, 10 a.m. And go do something nice for yourself. And remember to change that negative self-talk to I can and not I can't. And don't feel sorry for yourself. Find a way to make your life meaningful for you. I'm Stephanie Brown. I hope this has been helpful. Remember, you are loved, you are